we should recognize that there are present at Appomattox, in those regiments that block Lee's escape routes, African-American soldiers.
In the Army of the James, that's the 24th Corps, which would be all white troops, and a portion of the 25th Corps, which are United States Colored Troops, USCTs, as they were known at the time.
There are 7 regiments of USCT troops there at Appomattox, and if you will, the men in these regiments represent a microcosm of African-American life in America at the time.
And it's a fascinating profile on a group of men that come from everywhere, not just North and South, Canada, Europe, Asia, Hawaii, Central America. Various levels of education. They were not all former slaves. Some were, some weren't. Fascinating.
We have men in the ranks who will become very important leaders in the African-American community after the war, as it so happens.
Lincoln had great appreciation for the black effort in the Civil War. Quietly, he knew it was happening even before the Emancipation Proclamation was issued on January 1st, 1863. Generals were having to find something to do with what was known at the time as contraband, black fugitive slaves coming across Union lines, hoping to be protected by them.
African Americans in the Union Army, 150,000 in all over the course of the war. Many people believe this was the decisive edge that the Union had from black troops.
And so Lincoln sees that they are a key element of the war by that time in the war, to the point where he says it cannot be won but for the help of these black enlisted soldiers and sailors.
What we know now through some very current research that our own staff has been doing, that the number of USCTs at Appomattox is actually about 5,000 soldiers.
These USCT regiments at Appomattox had seen considerable duty in the Overland Campaign and in the fall of Petersburg and other key moments. And for these men, their very presence on this battlefield was the culmination of a long struggle. African Americans had lent their service, volunteered their service to the Union Army at the very start of the conflict and been turned away because the presumption on the part of the federal government in the North was that they didn't have what it took, the necessary courage and manhood to fight in the Union ranks. But they had pressed for that opportunity. They had finally won it. They're helping to bring about Confederate defeat, but they're also liberating slaves from slavery.
And yes, they're part of this force that's out here in this field in the morning of the 9th. We might even call them agents of emancipation.